Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words,
are we talking about the holidays already? I always get upset when I go to stores and I see decoration for Christmas or something that is going to be happening in 3 months. Buongiornata a tutti. This is Coffee Break Logistics and Supply Chain. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And as always, we have probably the best co-host in Coffee Break Logistics and Supply Chain. There you go. Benita, good morning. How are you?
Hello, hello.
How's everything with you today?
Really good. You got me thinking about that, holiday gifts and my personal strategy. And, the advice that I would be giving to Mr. and Mrs. Claus, right?
Yeah, that is something that they are looking forward to hear from you. No question about it. Now, in this particular industry, we talk about peak season.
And right, peak season was like in the spring.
Yeah, yeah.
Like peak season is over, and it's now like too late.
And I mean, for the last 2 or 3 years, we have seen that peak season seems to be that is any given month. Now, on a regular environment, we were talking about, peak season in this particular industry when retailers get prepared for the holidays. That would be the normal peak season, right? So if I am a manufacturing company, basically I start bringing a heavy inbound for the holidays, let's say between July, August, and then I'm going to have everything ready, set to go for Black Friday, and then, of course, the Christmas. That changed a lot.
Yeah.
That changed a lot.
Yeah. What do you think the timelines have been? I mean, we've heard from many experts in the industry. What do you think the timelines are going to be now? Like, are the retailers going to have enough stock on their shelves? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, now it's completely opposite, I believe. Talking to multiple different companies that they are in. I mean, the big season is the holidays. They have an overstock. Unfortunately, they are banking that they are going to be able to push everything for the holidays, but it seems to be that demand has decreased a little bit. Therefore, I mean, they're going to end up with some stock in their warehouses, unfortunately, or fortunately for the industry, because I mean, it's always what affects someone then is going to be in favor of somebody else.
Oh yeah, it's a total domino effect, right?
Right.
So when we talk from bulk wholesale to retail,
yeah,
and it affects everybody. Like even if you're local, even if you're a local business that makes local goods, you're still potentially bringing in raw materials that are from other places.
Right. And happened to be that because all the delays in the supply chain and stuff like that, so they were placing orders way in advance. They get everything here in the United States, and they are having extra stock to store in multiple different warehouses outside even the regular storage units that they have, banking then the retailers like the Walmart, the Kohl's, the Costco's, and stuff like that. They're gonna place orders for that, and what we have seen is those big retailers, they have to slow down placing those orders. Therefore, there's excess in inventory. I mean, we hear in the news that Target, for example, I mean, they have many promotions and discounts and stuff like that in light of the excess inventory that they have. Well, the good thing is that it's going to be an exciting time for logistics and supply chain industry, no question about it. I mean,
Well, here's my advice to Target.
yeah. How about that? Okay.
Here's my advice to Target.
Go for it.
You know, get a team, a supply chain / trade compliance team in,
Uh-huh.
and instead of opening brick and mortar in Canada,
Okay.
make Target goods online available to Canadians
And
and Mexicans, you know, whoever is close by, and you can get things to them via, you know, the modes of transportation that are available.
mhm.
I mean, that's easy with the free trade agreements, right?
Yeah.
So they got it all wrong in like a few years ago. Target tried to enter Canada,
Okay.
but
And what happened?
because they didn't understand that the goods that go to Target proper in the United States
Mm-hmm.
can't easily cross the borders.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was like all of us Canadians were complaining, oh, we go into a Target and all we find is like leftover Kmart stuff, leftover Zellers stuff, leftover like dollar store stuff. Like, this is crap. This is not like the Target goods that we're used to in the States.
Uh-huh.
And so nobody went, and they went bankrupt in Canada. And then they were like, oh yeah, Target doesn't work in Canada, just not big enough of a population. No, it's that you underestimated how savvy and sophisticated the Canadian buyer actually is. The Canadian buyer is basically like the US buyer.
I don't know if that is a good thing or not.
Well, you know, the US is so close by
Uh-huh.
that our tastes have
Okay.
become more American-like, good or bad, you know?
Okay. Well, I mean, definitely there's a big conversation about, I mean, how, as a buyers, I mean, how we good are. I don't know. We buy a lot, that's for sure. We buy things that we don't need, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And we spend money that we don't have, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that relates to being a good buyer or not, but
Well, you know, I don't think we can talk about whether or not we're good or bad.
mhm.
Like, Santa is making his list. He'll let us know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to buying, it's behavior, right? So we can classify it as bad or good morally, but a supply chain is a supply chain.
Right.
It just is. It's a system, and it's run by customer behavior.
Yeah, and from the business standpoint, I mean, definitely, the economy bank in the fact that you're going to be spending your money, right?
Right. Everything ties together.
Right. Where you have it or not doesn't matter, but the economy is banking that you are going to be buying things.
Right.
Yes, and go out and take vacation and do stuff with your money. Don't keep it. Just spend it. That's what the economy is banking on.
Right. No, not me, not me. So, Ryan Patel, if you remember, him, I was on his post the other day, and he says, the big banks are announcing this. What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think none of us have any idea what we're gonna do. Like, how do you brace for recession again?
Uh-huh.
Like, we haven't experienced it like as a global whole since whole as in WHOLE
Uh-huh.
since I would say 2008.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Because like Canada's had the commodity crash, and we've had like kind of practice
Uh-huh.
experiencing recession and not being able to find a job and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2016, 2014. And what I did was I took a contract with my husband and I followed him down to the States, hoping that I would find some work
Okay.
and opportunities. But what did other people do? Like, did you just stay at home and save? Did you, like, what are your austerity measures?
Right. I mean, we are not saying that saving is bad, right? Saving, as a matter of fact, is good. Even investing is even better than saving.
Mm-hmm.
But
But you shouldn't go invest your money when you don't understand the system. I think that's the problem with, like, the crypto and the Bitcoin fiascos. Like, some people have had luck, yes, but that's a very small percentage of us.
yeah, like the rich and the poor, right?
Right.
The 1% and then the rest.
Right. Like the rest of us, like me included, I don't really know what I'm doing when I'm investing on the market. And that's why I have a financial advisor, right?
There you go. And talking about advisors, uh, any single company. I mean, because when we were thinking about the holiday gift guide, right? This is more towards the companies versus we as a consumers, right? I mean, all what I have in mind is the recommendations for the companies, not exclusively for the people that they're gonna go and buy things for the holidays.
Okay. So
But we
if
can
you,
mix those together, right?
let's say I am Benita Lee Mart,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm as big, my economy, my revenues are as big as a small country or a medium-sized country. And I'm saying to you, Jose, like, okay, I have everything stored at my, warehouses that I'm going to take out for Halloween and Christmas now. But some of the problems I've had were that I couldn't find warehouse storage in the United States, and I'm based in the United States. So I had contracts with my suppliers in the Pacific region, like
Mm-hmm.
Cambodia, Vietnam, China, Indonesia, and they're supposed to be sending it, and it's on the water or it's not on the water yet because of the congestion. What should I do? Like, what are some things you would tell me, Jose, that I could do to ease my pain, my supply chain pain?
Without any question, I mean, there's always a quick fix, but that quick fix is going to lead to another problem in a short time, right? Like, for example, I mean, what we were saying from the beginning, because the delays in the supply chain, then everyone was bringing everything in advance. Now,
There's no
warehouses,
warehousing. There's
yeah,
no storage.
warehouses are completely full, and
Mhm.
then the buyers are not buying in the same speed that they were buying before. I mean, especially during the pandemic. So it is a bottleneck. Uh, my best recommendation is, like you mentioned probably earlier, get a consultant, get someone that knows the specifics about the supply chain and logistics from
Mhm.
end to end, from end to end. Because if you're going to focus in one area, then you're going to be in trouble later on because you are not
Right.
seeing
If you focus just on the warehousing, you're going to be in trouble when you need to move that stuff.
right. So and there's different approaches, but I would start with something that is extremely important, and it's something that probably many companies and many decision makers are not doing, despite the fact that they have that handy, is know your numbers. If
Know
you,
your numbers.
if
We
you
have
know,
Adrian Betts here.
I'm sorry.
We have Adrian Betts here. He's like an inventory and warehousing master.
Well, and
So know your numbers. What else do we have?
okay,
We
because
welcome comments from the crowd as well.
yeah, because that's the beginning. If you know your numbers, then basically you are going to be able to tackle in the best way based on what is the season that you are going to be living in, right? I'll give you an example. Basically, 30% of the shoppers, they like to buy early, and early means early November, right? So
Right.
with that in mind, then you have to be prepared for that 30% of the whole entire population that are planning to buy in early November. Now, also 45% is probably like me. They left everything for the last minute, the week before the holidays. So 30% is going to be in advance, 45% is going to be probably a week before the holidays. So you know your numbers, you know these numbers as well. And here is probably the most important part. The global economy, the expectation for 2022 is that it's going to be a sales of $5.5 trillion. That's huge. So
What about the other 20%? Do they just not buy gifts, or are they buying all year?
what do you mean? What about the other 20%?
Like 35% of buyers are going to buy early in November. 45% are going to buy the last week before.
Yeah, I mean, it's not divided in 100%. I mean, that the whole population is 100%.
Oh, I see.
It's going to be a survey that is taken and see how do you like to buy, early or late. You said 30% respond.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we said that $5.5 trillion is going to be the what the economy is expecting that is going to be the global sales, right?
Okay.
Now the other important number is that 20% of those of that 5.5 trillion is going to be online.
Oh, interesting.
For each dollar,
Only 20%. I'm surprised.
only 20%. Only 20%.
Just what year is this?
That's the expectation for 2022.
Wow. I am so surprised because I feel like everything I buy right now is online.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a boom on the e-commerce, right? But it still is a big gap that is between whatever is going to be the transactions that are going to be online and the rest of in the way that you acquire things, right? I mean, still there's places that you have to go and buy. No, you have to. You decide to go and buy those things, right?
Okay, drop in the comments, folks. Are you going to buy your gifts online or in person? Predominantly. Like, think about the people you need to buy for and where you're going to get those items, and drop below if you're going to be online or in-person shopping.
Right. And going back to the question, right? So if you, I mean, the data analysis is something that is critical, right? I mean, not only knowing your numbers, but knowing the numbers about the season and the expectation and everything else in between, because with that, you are going to make a decision that is going to be able to be very situated for that particular event. Now, there's one important thing that knowing these numbers, for example, I mean, that is going to be the opportunity is 5.5 trillion in sales globally. Knowing that 20% of that is online only, then basically you can be creative, right? If your warehouse is full and you are waiting for the retailers to place an order, which we know that probably it won't be in the same volumes or in the same speed that everyone was banking on, then be creative. You have to be creative. You have to be on the lookout for those opportunities. What I would do is the results of that data analysis, I would focus in the online services, but with one particular, let's say, strategic way to do it
Okay, what's that?
is I have to help my clients to get the best deal from me.
I see. So redirecting cost.
Yeah, I mean, and basically, I'm going to be on the advance instead of waiting for the 30% that buy early.
Mm-hmm.
Be ahead of that, and then have or create an incentive for them to buy even earlier than November,
Right.
right?
Yeah, no, I had never thought about that because, most of my career I worked for manufacturing companies that manufacture commodities.
Uh-huh.
So, but in the retail world, I am quite savvy as well, in my classification skills.
Right.
So, in the way that you would, sharpen your pencil for your rate towards these clients,
Mhm.
I would say hire a customs compliance person for Christmas season.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, like 3-month contract, hire John Y. Ford,
Mhm.
hire Benita Lee, hire, all these people that are out in the world that are looking for contracts on a 3-month contract.
Right. And even before, I mean, probably the hiring have to be taking place in June versus later on. I mean,
Yeah, ideally, but you know how things work. Like it takes 6 months for people to really, the hiring process is very long right now.
yeah. So just working the example that we were trying to portray. So if
Mhm.
I know that 30% by early November, then what if I have a strategy to, instead of waiting for the retail to place an order with me, for the retailer to put that in the shelf for my potential clients, I can control my destiny in terms of the inventory and turn around that inventory even quicker if I have a strategy to be in front of my clients. Because by the way, I know my clients, right? I know what they have bought probably prior, um, in the prior years. Therefore, I can do something even better to that. Or
It's
even
gonna be
though that
so interesting, right? Like this holiday season
right, and
to see if what what we're predicting and what we're seeing from our numbers is going to match what actually happens.
right,
Because this is an off year again.
yeah, nothing different than the previous year.
Right? Yeah, you can't. It's like everybody's numbers was totally skewed by something or another for the
Now,
last 3 years.
if we realize and we pay attention, I mean, we always talk about consumer behaviors,
Hmm.
but those consumer behaviors are driven by the companies in many cases, right? So let's say, for example, that I buy 100 of these early November, and now for any given reason, someone knows and identified that I buy these every single November. Then probably someone is going to be reaching out to me directly, and then they said, if you buy the same amount in October, this is your incentive. What's going to happen? Most likely, because I know that I'm going to buy this, then basically I'm going to make an investment in October. So
Right.
my
Yeah, no, that's a great strategy as well, right?
yeah
Is do a reach out, a customer reach out.
yeah like today's marketing, you can have the best billboard in one of the highways, right? But you need to wait that someone is going to be driving and passing by the billboard to be able to spot that and read it and watch it or whatever, right? Now, it's completely different. In today's DNA, you can identify the person that is going to be planning to buy this kind of stuff and be able to be in front of those people in the way that you want it, where it's going to be a phone, a tablet, computer, laptop, direct messages, anything. So it's up to you how you're going to decide to do this. But that would be my strategy. Just facilitate for your clients to find the best deals from you in multiple different channels. That is probably my recommendation for the companies, instead of waiting and see what happens at the end of the year. That is, I mean, waiting is always a bad thing to do, right?
And unfortunately, I think a lot of companies are sit and wait kind of folks, kind of that kind of mentality, like why do something new when you've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah, and I have a good recommendation. I mean, I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not, but I have a good recommendation.
Oh, yes, tell us all.
But before we're going to do that, let's say hello to our audience. We have John.
John, hi, John. We still haven't shared that photo of your Coffee Break Logistics and Supply Chain mug. We need to do that.
No, he shared that with me.
Oh, yeah, I know, but we haven't shared it with everybody else.
Yes,
we need to do that.
Correct. That is correct, yes. We need to solve that problem.
Yeah, we do. We're on it, John. Why?
So he's saying hello to you. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I told them I'm wearing white to complement my tan.
So do I then.
Yeah, yours is just natural though. I'm not this tanned most of the year, so I got to show off when I can.
That's the difference between people that they are able to go on vacation. You can have tan during that vacation. For me, I have to wear it all the time because I don't go on vacation as often as you do.
Oh, no way. Like this was my first vacation in 3-4 years. Yeah, maybe 4. So yeah, no, it was good to be on vacation and like, spending a little bit of my time working too. Not as much as vacationing, but.
Adrian, bonjour. Comment ça va?
Yeah. Adrian is we're gonna meet up. Adrian and I are gonna meet up and see what we're gonna work on something, I think.
So he's a neighbor of yours.
Yeah, that's right. He's in Canada.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That's why the bonjour.
Oh, well, it can be multiple different choices. I didn't know.
True. Elizabeth Rubin. Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah, I'm really enjoying Elizabeth's comment and content lately.
I haven't had the pleasure, do I?
I don't know. Elizabeth, are you following Jose as well? If you want to catch Coffee Break Logistics.
Oh, yes, definitely. No. We are connected, definitely.
Okay, good.
Elizabeth is very active, and thank you for joining.
Oh, she's 25 miles from the Mexican border, so I'm going to keep that in mind, Elizabeth, because when I need someone close to that border, which is quite often, like people ask me about, do you have contacts at the, Laredo, Brownsville? Brownsville is pretty cool. That's where Elon Musk has his launch pad, no?
Is that the case, Brunswick?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I never went that far when I was in Texas. I lived in Texas for 3 years, Elizabeth. And I always wanted to get down to Brownsville, but never made it down that far. The most southern part that I made it was that South Padre Island.
San Padre?
Hmm.
So 3 years, I mean, you got the opportunity to visit multiple different places, right?
Yeah. I like Texas. You know, when I first thought I was moving there, I'd never been to Texas at all. I'd never been to any city in Texas.
Yeah, Texas
And
is a nice place to be as well. I mean, there are so many
you have
places.
to know where to go, right? Like if you just go there for work and you stay within the boundaries of your work, then you're not going to have any fun and you're not going to see stuff. But if you travel on the highways and you go down to like the hill country and like San Marcos and what's that little there's like other little towns that are so fun, like Waco.
Waco, Texas.
Very underrated places to visit in Texas.
Yeah, and food wise,
Oh,
right? I mean, you can find everything there.
Texas is the reason why I gained 30 pounds.
And I mean, they always said something like everything is big in Texas. So I tend to believe that that's the case because when you go to a restaurant, you always get some, oh, man, and a steak is a real steak, not like any other places.
Oh, absolutely. SpaceX, that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, SpaceX. Yep, yep. They have also a plant in Long Beach, California. So, well, let me keep saying hello here. We got John Perry. We got Ana Maria from Rancho Palos Verdes in California.
Mm.
We got Nicole from Bogota, Colombia. We got Bino from Kuala Lumpur. We got
Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás?
We got also Cindy Rubiano from Bogota, Colombia. We got Balam from United Arab Emirates.
Oh, nice.
Audrey, we got Eric from New Alexandria, Virginia. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here because the list go.
Right. I mean, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, Spotify, Facebook, TikTok, and Clubhouse. So
There you go. We are all over the place. So we were talking about that definitely we should be being active and reach out with something specific to our clients in advance, right? Directly. Now, something that we tend to overlook, and I'm talking about, I mean, from many different companies, we tend to believe or care about the sale that we need to make. So I'm gonna go back to this example, right?
Mhm.
So my forecast is to be able to sell 1,000 of these this year, for example, right?
Okay.
Now, everyone is focusing on selling these 1,000 pieces, but in reality, we need, in my opinion, again, and this is a good recommendation that I probably many manufacturing companies can put in practice. We have to divide the focus in three. And I would say that you have to focus on the buyer of this. We have to focus on the gift, which is this card, right? And also we have to focus on the receiver. So instead of focusing on selling 1,000 pieces, we can focus on these three things, and probably we are going to end up selling probably twice as much of the 1,000 that I forecast to be sold. And what I mean by that is that you need to be able to attract the buyer for this. And the buyer, in many cases, is going to be someone that is going to be able to give this to somebody else. So I have to think
Ooh.
of the person that is going to be receiving this.
Yeah, no, there's a great idea, guys. Buy your coffee break logistics and supply chain mug for your LinkedIn friends, your
Right.
community in LinkedIn.
So, I mean, with that in mind, not only we are selling this to the buyer, the initial buyer, right? But also if we focus on someone like the person that is going to be receiving this, and when I said focusing on that person that is going to be physically receiving the gift, means that you can have, I don't know, an insert that is going to go with every single cup, right? In case that someone is going to be receiving it, they're going to learn more about your company, probably a little information or QR code that is going to be taking that person to the website and discover some other products that they are there. So what I'm saying is you can expand on the sale experience, not only focusing on selling the 1,000 of these, but probably going far beyond of that. And that is my recommendation. Definitely, you are going to be able to.
Right. Because what's a cup unless it has something in it that tells you more about the show?
Yeah, and I seen many subscriptions companies that they have an insert that talks about the company, some other products. They have even some discounts if you would like to buy something else. So the journey is not selling these. The journey goes far beyond that, adding more information that your clients are going to come back and look for more products or services, right?
Right. And like, for example, I saw that when I got my Coffee Break Logistics and Supply Chain cup, it came from a distribution center in Canada. And I was like, nice, Jose. Because a lot of people don't know how to arrange that. And that's the problem. When goods need to cross borders, it becomes a lot more expensive and a lot more difficult.
Now, when I was saying about knowing your numbers, this is extremely good information. In 2021, a total in the United States of $761 billion in returns. So $761 billion in returns. That is an impressive number that we need to account in our mind, right? Because the opportunities out of these, I mean, let's say for a company, for a 3PL, the opportunity for a 3PL is to know, to learn, and to be able to provide those services, the reverse logistics, right? Because those goods have to come somewhere, right? That's one opportunity. Now, for the manufacturing companies, every single manufacturing companies know that they are going to have some returns. I wouldn't say that make it difficult to return, but if we shift that, make it attractive to keep it.
Yeah, I can think of some ways that manufacturing companies can make it attractive to keep it.
What it would be one of those ways?
Discounting the invoice, or if it's already paid, you give a credit.
Right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean, that is absolutely correct, because I have bought some things in Amazon, for example.
Right.
And I said, okay, I want to return this. And they said, we are going to create that, keep it. In many cases. Something that doesn't have a great value, but I mean, I know I have seen that. Because
yeah, I mean, and that tells you how expensive it is to return something versus just scrapping that, and writing it off for the company.
Right, yeah. It's better than the customer keep it. And
yeah,
it doesn't have to be 100% credit. I mean, if you are going to promote, I mean, to your clients, I mean, instead of paying a full price, I mean, pay 50% and keep it, probably they're going to take that option.
Yeah.
Probably.
Or you use a credit.
Yep. When you are going to go back and buy something else, and then you can use that credit. I mean, there are so many creative.
Or there can be non-monetary as well. And you can say, like, for your next order, you can have 90 days to pay instead of 30 or 15 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely correct.
Right?
Now, another good news in preparation for the Christmas or the holidays is that the expectation for the following year in terms of e-commerce is going to continue growing. That's number one. But number two, the need for additional warehouse space, not only here in the United States, but around the world, is going to be on a high demand again and again and again and again.
Hmm.
And the
What
fourth,
really caught my ear with the joy of logistics with our good friend Christoph
Mhm.
was that inland port. Like, yeah, why haven't people start to set up inland ports?
Right.
There's this place in Montana, or North Dakota. I think no, it's North Dakota, sorry. And it's called Minot.
Mhm.
Minot. And for years and years, probably like 15 now at least, there's been talk about having that as a distribution center for manufacturers like oil and gas,
Mhm.
fertilizers, chemicals, right?
Mhm.
And, to this day, I don't know if anyone's done that, but there you have it. There's Benita's freebie for the day. If you're in the Minot area, North Dakota,
Uh-huh.
there is some huge opportunity there.
Yeah. Now we talk about some recommendations for retailers and manufacturing companies. How about for regular people like me? How should I prepare better for the coming holidays and the peak season or whatever we want to call it?
Okay, so if you're talking to me and you're asking for my advice, my my strategy for the past few years has been please, please, please don't buy anything from me. Like, I want your time.
Okay.
I want your time. So like let's just see each other. Let's go out to eat and treat ourselves.
Mm-hmm,
But let's not do this gift exchange thing.
mm-hmm.
Let's not do that.
So
Cuz your presence is a present.
you're gonna support the economy in a different way. Not
Um
buying stuff, just.
yeah, I'm basically supporting like mental wellness. Hello.
Yes. Good. Good.
I mean it seems really like ideal and like not everyone is in the position because I mean there's kids, right? Like you don't want to ruin kids' Christmases. So like I will buy for my nephews and nieces, and I don't have any nieces. I have nephews only.
Okay.
It seems to work that way. You get a whole generation of girls like with your cousins, and then that generation of girls gives birth to a whole generation of boys.
It seems to be that goes like that.
Right? It works that way. I've talked to people around the world, and it's like it happens like that. But so yeah, like I'll find out what my nephews want for Christmas, and I'll get them something little. I don't want to get something that will overshadow their parents' gift, like Santa's gift. I mean, sorry.
Uh-huh.
So you know, but I'm not going to be doing a lot of buying at
That's
all.
good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
But for myself, and like meeting up with people, like there's the Joy Drop,
What is that?
in Calgary.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Shashi Bell is the owner, and she's like top 50 of 50 in Calgary. She should be. She's won awards for being like the top retailer in Canada, not
Yeah.
just Calgary, Canada.
Wow.
And
Okay.
she has retail stores that sell jewelry, but it's not just jewelry that you can find at like Claire's and Ardene's, like the cheapy stuff. It's like mid price jewelry, like not like Tiffany's, but not like Claire's. You know what I mean?
Okay.
In the middle for like for women my age, there's nothing for us. But what's even better is that the jewelry comes along with designer stories. So you get to know each designer in the shop that's like
Mm.
partnered with the shop. So this one, like, I don't know, I forget her story, but I think she's out of New York or Israel.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Israel. But like people in Calgary that know of this jewelry store, they can look at your jewelry and name which designer that was from. And I find that so cool. That's a good place for girls to have a Christmas gathering. In fact, I think I might do it.
Very interesting. So you
I
are.
had my birthday there. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes, yes. Now that you mention it, I mean, I do remember that. Yes, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe that I
My
saw
birthday.
a picture. I mean, with someone there, but I don't remember who that person
Yeah,
was.
it was the whole group that came for my birthday, and it was like my sister, and then mostly people that I hadn't met on LinkedIn. So I was so happy about that. It brought me so much joy, and that's what that shop is about. So
So in that shop, I mean, you can have a gallery. I mean, there's.
yeah, you can have. I had my birthday. They have other occasions like bridesmaids parties and um what are they called? You could have baby showers. They provided like the snacks and the bubbles, and then all I had to do is show up. It was so nice. Like there's a retailer that's thinking, right?
Now, that's a good conversation because what exactly is the product that they sell?
Jewelry, and then
Yes, that's the product, but what they sell basically.
the feeling, the story.
There you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Shashi is so good at getting the story. It's like you want to like cry every time she tells you about a designer.
Mhm.
And then when you want to cry, you want to buy. I just made that up.
But it seems to be real, by the way.
It's true. We all know that when you touch people's hearts, they trust you. They like you. They want to buy from you, right?
And we talked about storytelling last week, and
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what we are saying here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The story.
Yeah, no, that was a great compliment. I forgot to thank you for that. Like you told people that I could story tell, and I hadn't really thought of it that way because to me, I'm very I don't know. I don't want to say bad things about myself, but I don't think I'm the best storyteller there is out there. I think that in knowing me and then in knowing my story, that's how I story tell, but I don't think I'm really good at going on for like 5 minutes and then telling a story. But I
You're,
think
you're,
in
you're,
knowing me, I
you're,
have stories that go together.
yeah, but you're fantastic. I mean, as a storyteller, I mean, you're fantastic, no question about it, in my opinion. Again,
Well, I totally respect your opinion, so I'm going to have to say thank you then.
there you go. That's what you should do, definitely.
Yeah, because then this other person said it in a text mess in a DM. Thank you, Mr. Tao. He said, "You are quite the storyteller," and I was like, "This person wrote to me in Chinese." I was like, "How can he like? I write in English for my posts, right? So how can he tell I'm a storyteller?" It was so cool.
Yeah, well, and the beauty of storytelling is not that have to be perfect. Number one,
No.
you have to be you. Number two, you are going to be connecting with someone, not with everyone, with someone, and that's probably the
Mhm.
most important part. So,
Yeah, I think that's the key, right?
absolutely correct. Well, so we talk about, I mean, the holiday gift guide for companies, and
Right. And we gave them 3 pointers, know your numbers, know the consumer behavior patterns, and then try to match it up, find a consultant that knows the supply chain from end to end. And what was the third one?
focus on those three aspects of the buyer, the gift, and the receiver of the goods.
Mhm.
Uh, and something that is extremely key is to basically what we are saying is identify opportunities.
Right. Okay, so now I want to know, you guys have to drop what you want for Christmas from Santa. Tell us what you want. Tell us what's on your list. I would really, really want to know. Today I got somebody telling me that they wanted pajamas on my post.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, that's a good one. Like pajamas, you got to think, right? And I'm thinking, where am I going to get high quality pajamas for, not very much cost? And I'm thinking rack stores. Yeah, I'm heading to a rack store for pajamas because you can get like brand name pajamas for really, really inexpensive, right?
I'm not a pajama buyer, so I don't have an opinion about that.
Oh, wait, TMI, TMI, Jose. You didn't really need to know that you sleep in the buck.
Yeah, sorry about that, but that's who I am, unfortunately.
There you have it. Okay, myself, on the other hand, that prompted me to go look at my pajamas because I told them, please look at the tag because I'm curious where your pajamas are going to come from, right?
Mhm.
And mine were made in Cambodia. And
Wow.
so that surprised me because more and more, like when I went down Robson Street in Vancouver and I went to all of the shops that I love, most of the shops that I love were, they are, what is it called when it's their first shop? Not a landmark, but a flagship. A flagship.
Yeah.
All the flagship stores that I like are in Vancouver on Robson Street. Like, and it was just so fun because 20 years ago I shopped there, and then I feel like I'm one of the OG of like, I'm so cocky. One of the OG of like wearing Lululemon, Aritzia, Babaton, all that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
In Calgary. And there's still pieces that I own from those shops that people compliment me on. But anyways, the point of telling that story was I looked at all the tags in those stores and they used to be all made in China. They all used to be made in China, right? Even though I love the design and style, I was like, why is everything made in China? Nowadays, you see made in Cambodia, made in Vietnam, made in Indonesia.
Mhm, mhm.
Isn't that interesting? So I found that really interesting. That's a
Yeah.
supply chain story.
Yeah, definitely it is because I mean diversification is something that it have to be taking place in the supply chain, and outsourcing from one exclusive source is not probably the smartest way to experience, right? We, I mean, I'm talking about, I mean, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, companies experienced that was a challenge. If everything is outsourced for one country only, then you are going to have some issues. And nearshoring is definitely the one of the options, but having multiple different sources will make it more flexible. I mean, for you as a business owner to do the best of the exercise that you have to do, right?
So we're not getting any presents. Like nobody is asking for what they want from Santa.
Yeah. Well, they're going to miss the opportunity. They can share that in DMs or anything because Santa can be listening, and then
Santa is all knowing. Can
yeah.
you imagine the tech that Santa has? I mean, I think that's our next episode. Like, we need to go over the tech that Santa has and like classify all these goods that his elves make. And the fact that he's in the North Pole, Jose,
Yeah,
like to me, is that Siberia or is that Canada?
it should be Canada.
Okay, he should be in Canada because his
Yeah.
postal code is
Yes.
HOHOHO, right? So he's in Canada. It's all good. It's made in Canada.
It should be in Canada. That is correct.
Right. But can you imagine like that GPS system he has in his sleigh? And like
Mhm.
I know the reindeer drive it and everything, but I mean he's still got to have tech. And
Okay.
like imagine if he needed a semiconductor chip.
Especially for the Reno, I mean to blink.
Right.
Now you're gonna need a chip to be able to blink all the time.
Right. And is this like EV or not? Or is Santa emitting fuels all night long on Christmas night, Christmas Eve?
So I see that you strongly believe in Santa, right?
Yeah, who doesn't?
You know, did I mention this once that at my early age I discovered that Santa wasn't not exactly.
Oh, I think you told me that last time and I cried for you.
Yeah, that's the reason why I have issues at this age, right? Because
That's traumatizing.
yes.
When you find out too early, it's traumatizing.
Yeah. Yes.
And your hope for humanity is like,
I complained to my parents all the time. I said, "Why you guys did something like that?" I mean, I thought that it was Santa, the one that was bringing the gift. When I hear my parents, I mean, pretending that I was sleeping, I hear my parents talking about, I mean, what we are going to buy for Jose, and my world collapsed.
wow, no wonder, like I'm raking through my memory banks and I now understand why you are the way you are, Jose.
Yeah, I got issues.
I know one thing is that I am going to set out my coffee break logistics and supply chain mug with milk and cookies. So I need a plate now.
There you go. That's a good idea. Well, Benita, we are close to the top of the hour. Once again, I mean, it's been a great conversation. It's been great to have you around. I enjoy your powerful stories because they are very on point for everything that we do here. And we have to remember this. We are better together because we win together. Let me see. Can we read it here?
Better together, win together. Yes. It's all teamwork, guys.
That is correct. As always, grazie a tutti, and hoping that we are going to be able to see you next Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
11 Mountain.
That is correct. Ciao, ciao, Benita.
Ciao, ciao.